The topic that we're going to discuss today is how to unlock the power of your mind with reason. So if you're new to this channel, welcome. I'm Dreyer and I'm a modern day alchemist. A modern day alchemist, if you do not know, is someone that knows how to transform an idea or a mere thought or a concept into physical matter such as gold, cars, properties without spending any money. And I think that is the trick, is how do you start? How do you create something out of nothing? In other words, from a wave into a particle or into matter. And that is what alchemy is all about. Now, luckily for us, we can become modern day alchemists. The problem is that no one teaches this art anymore because it's not in the interest of the financial systems or the current system that we're in that we can become these modern day alchemists. Now, currently I'm engaged in a challenge to teach my inner circle students on how to turn, for example, an idea into 1 ounce of gold, and I've said within 91 days. Now, it's not going to take 91 days, but on social media, I'm focusing and I've made a commitment on providing feedback on this challenge, as well as to sharing the beliefs and the qualities that one must develop in order to become a modern day alchemist. Now, there's a lot more than what I'm going to discuss over the next 91 days, but I think during this 91 days, it's going to give you a little bit of an insight into what is a modern day alchemist, how do we operate, and why we can get the kind of results that we're getting. And the beauty about this whole is that you can achieve all of this. And this is why I want to bring to you this, what I'm busy sharing with you, that your qualities and your beliefs, those traits that you've got, those traits can be learned, and therefore you can turn yourself into a modern day alchemist. The beauty about this is that no one is born as an alchemist. It's our responsibility to learn the traits and the skills and the qualities of an alchemist if we want to master this trait. Just like any other trait, if you wanted to learn and become a medical doctor or an engineer, you had to learn the skills and you had to learn the tricks of the trade in order to become an engineer or a medical doctor. The great news is that all skills, traits, and qualities are teachable and learnable and transferable, which simply means that therefore anyone that is committed to learn them can become a modern day alchemist or a wealth creator. Now, the emphasis here is on the commitment. If you are just interested in becoming a modern day alchemist, it's not going to work for you unless you do the little exercises that I'm going to give you on a day-to-day basis and start to incorporate them into your lives. There's no ways that you are going to learn the skills and how to apply it in order to become a successful alchemist. So by integrating these qualities into our lives, we can become better versions of ourselves. And that's what it's all about. It's in order to move to higher vibrations and create, therefore, a life of abundance, because that is where the love, the joy, the kindness, the feelings of satisfaction is going to be. It's not on the lower vibrations where you have to work and everything is against you. The moment that you start increasing your vibrations, my friend, it's phenomenal. It's an incredible experience. And therefore, I'd like to share this experience with as many people as possible. Now, that does not mean that we're not going to get problems and going to get issues and run into problems and run into negativity. It doesn't mean that, but the way that we handle it is completely different. So what I want you to do is let's work on these qualities and traits in order to become the best version of yourself. Now, reason is one of the most powerful tools at our disposal. In fact, it's one of our mind powers. It's one of the 6 higher faculties of the mind. It is a phenomenal tool, but again, we're going to touch on this today. But the moment that you know and you've got the skill or the skill sets to master and control your reason, it's incredible. So it allows us to think logically, to analyze situations, and to make informed decisions. Now, without making informed decisions, and make those informed decisions by knowing and understanding what we let ourselves into, we are going to run into risk. And it's the risk that presents itself at the end of the day as a problem. So by honing our ability to reason, we can become more successful in literally all areas of our lives, from our career to our relationships. So reason is a key to unlocking the full potential of you as a modern day alchemist. Now, reason is not the same as emotion or intuition. We should not confuse it. While those can be important, reason requires the use of the intellect to think critically. In other words, there's a process, there's a skill that we have to master in order to get reason and to follow that process. Now, a process is actually a system. So what I'm doing in my life, I'm building these little systems. And then I follow those systems so that I keep track, so that I can get the same outcome. So I turn each and every system into a science. And a science is when you do certain things in a certain way and you get a certain outcome, you know that you have got science behind you. And that is what we do. So every process, and every skill and every quality that we've got, there's a process that we can follow. But no one, unfortunately, is teaching this to us. And this is the main reason why people suffer. So when we use reason, we are able to make decisions based on facts and evidence rather than just our gut feeling. And reason helps us to avoid making impulsive and irrational decisions that can hold us back. And that has caused stunts, and that in the past has devastated people simply because they did not use their reason before they make a decision or investment. Now, maybe here's a small task that can help you with this specific quality. I want you to take a few minutes to reflect on a recent decision that you've made. Now, the question is, did you use reason or did you solely rely on your emotions or intuition? Now, by reflecting on this, the question then is, how might your decision have been different if you have used reason? Now, we're not all trained to use reason, and that is why the majority of people think that it sounds logic when we do it, but logic is not reason. So maybe give you an action step or a couple of action steps that you can take to make and to improve your ability to reason. Start by questioning your assumptions and your beliefs. When I started this journey, it was because I saw in my life that things were not working out. I was really working hard and I did everything that I've learned to do as a financial advisor and a financial planner at that stage. But I could see in my life that it was just a job, and that job led me to nowhere except to keep on working for this company or for the companies. And when I looked around me, I saw there were people that were very successful and very happy. Now, just by doing that, I started reasoning with myself to have a look at, but why is it that I'm not getting those results? And based on that, I had to change my perception through the reason. Of course, I could see that by following this and by doing a simple calculation to calculate your financial freedom growth rate and see what your investment growth rate is, and see that those two, when they're not matching, there's no reason and way that you'll ever be financially free. Just by doing that, I started to think, but there must be other ways. And I started reasoning, what are these ways? And that is when I came to the realization that the lower the risk, the higher the growth, which is not part of the belief system, but it was through the reasoning process, because I've analyzed 133 properties through a system or a program that I wrote. And I could see through reasoning that if I do this versus that, or if I do that versus this, then there's going to be a different outcome. And by doing that, I simply changed my perceptions. I changed my belief systems through the reasoning, because I knew that the lower the risk, the higher the growth. And that is where this idea of a modern day alchemist, this is where it was born, when I saw that you don't need any money to do whatever and achieve and get whatever you want in life. But it's a different process than to go to the bank and simply borrow money from them in order to do that you want or that you think is your goal. So I want you then also to consider the evidence and the data before making a decision. And this is why I stress to at least to my students is, what are the results? The results is basically a summary of all the data, of all the things that you've made. It gives you a summary, and that summary shows financially in growth. And the growth, because we know how to mitigate the risk. So the growth is simply the outcome of everything that I need to know about all the data points that I had gathered in order to make a conclusion. And that conclusion that I've made, because I know the process, is the higher the growth, the lower the risk. And the risk can be totally eliminated by being a modern day alchemist or a wealth creator. So what I want you to do is to practice critical thinking by evaluating arguments and considering alternative viewpoints. If I stuck to my guns and I believe what I've learned in order to get fancy degrees and qualifications, I would never make that breakthrough. I would never be able to validate and to see and to prove that art that everyone said has died out, alchemy, that it's alive and that it is something that will never die out, because everyone within us, within our DNA, have got that ability to be able to create. And to create means to take an idea and convert it into whatever you want in real life. So I also think another action step is surround yourself with people who value reason and logic and engage in healthy debates and discussions. There's weird people in this world, and people nowadays want to control what we can say and what we should do. But I think free speech, as an example, is extremely important if you want to have a critical mind, a mind that can reason out something and not just do what they teach us and want us to do by conditioning us to do certain things. So in the comment section, if you'd like to, I will appreciate that. Please share a time when you use reason to make a decision and that led to a positive outcome. And share that with us. I'm sure that the whole group will value that and will enjoy that. So conclude today's lesson. Reason is a powerful tool that can help us to achieve success and to live a fulfilling life. By cultivating our ability to reason, we can become better problem solvers, because the end result of that will be, okay, but I need to get to a skill. And a problem is there because we lack skills, but we don't know the process in order to do it. And that is where reasoning comes in. And therefore, our decision-making process is going to improve. And therefore, it's going to help us to be a better modern-day alchemist. Now, there's something that I am repeating over and over, and that is that we need to remember that our beliefs, our qualities, our traits, and the skills that we have or that we are busy developing, that is going to determine our destiny. So thank you so much for your time, and I can't wait to see you in the next lesson.